as holidays approach here, lots of times families get together that maybe haven't seen that older family member for a while, and they recognize that there's a definite change in their cognitive dissonance, and they're really concerned about that. What would be some steps they should take?
Well, the first step really that they should take is contact that person's physician and get an evaluation done. Okay. Hopefully they would contact us also pretty soon. But there are things that can actually look like dementia. Maybe someone's on a medication that isn't working well with their system, or maybe they have a thyroid problem, or there's an illness. We're more frail, we're more fragile as we get older, and those things can impact us. But families don't want to sit on, trying to second guess what's going on. They want to get somebody in to the doctor and find out, immediately what's going on.
This is so important because the first part of solving a problem many times is defining the problem.
That's right.
It might even be admitting maybe there is a problem or a concern. And it reminds me, there is, we were just sitting this morning, and we do a lot of prep with our studio team and looking at when we get ready for the show, and it just hit me. I was sitting there in the conference room, and we're talking about this, and I completely forgot about this couple that we helped. It turns out that he was dealing with more and more symptoms of Alzheimer's. And she is actually a nurse, his wife, and so she's committed to taking care of him. But we were in the process of redefining and restructuring their finances. He was the old school guy that just had everything in stocks and bonds and mutual funds and had done very, very well for himself. But she was terrified because back in 2008, they lost 30 or 40% of their entire life savings. And here they are in their late 60s. He might even be 70. And she was terrified that they're going to go through another market crash. And as much as she's putting to help him and the financial impact on them, and it's going to get worse, that they were going to lose half of their life savings, and she was going to be left impoverished. So what was interesting is she was balancing trying to manage this with the kids and the family, and as we were putting this plan together for him, he would just get to these points where he'd forget what we talked about.
Oh, yes.
He'd forget that he made a decision to move forward, and then he would block a decision, and she's sitting over there biting her nails in fear that her future is really in jeopardy. And so it was I think it was this time, maybe a couple years ago, when all the family was back here in Colorado Springs. We actually had an entire family with all of the children, with him and with her. And for the first time, she had to tell the kids, your dad his symptoms have progressed much more than you realize.
Yes.
Much more than you realize. And as a result, the kids were able to come around and really encourage Dad and say, Dad, you've done really well, but you've crossed the line financially. You've won the game, but you need to restructure to protect you and to protect your wife. But it was a family event, and it was really interesting watching the spouse communicate to her stepkids about this. And I knew that was a very hard situation to be in.
It's hard no matter what, and it's very difficult when there are stepchildren involved.